Welcome to the Motion Church podcast, your weekly dose of teaching, faith, and inspiration. Every Sunday, we delve into the Bible to uncover its relevance for our lives today. Whether you're on the train, cooking, or just relaxing at home, grab your Bible, your coffee, or whatever you need, and let's explore the depths of living life with God together.
We are starting a brand new series called Faith Essentials. It's going to be running, I believe, for the next 8 weeks. And I've got the privilege of starting with it today in the English service. Woohoo is correct. And I've already been addressed, because in the previous sermon, I thanked the sound team for all their hard work, and then the lights team felt left out. So can we just give a round of applause to the guys serving on lights and stage and everything here, because that's what I'm going to be speaking about today. I decided to go for a very easy topic, which is serving. Serving as a faith essential. I mean, everybody wants to hear how we should serve, right? That's a very easy topic to start with. No, all jokes aside, I'm going to be talking about serving and how it is an essential to your faith, how it is essential to your faith life. And you might already have some questions. We'll get there. I thought before I get to the details, I need to tell you a little bit more about myself so that you know you're speaking to an expert on serving. Okay, expert. Expert level, black belt, ninja, call it what you want, yes. I've done it all. I've served everywhere. Absolutely humble as well. I'm the most humble person that I know. No, quick note. So today is actually exactly the day 3 years ago when we stepped onto a plane to come to the Netherlands. Yes, it's been an amazing journey, and I can't believe it's only been 3 years because we've done a lot in 3 years. But before that, that's a life that maybe a lot of you don't know, that you don't know about me. So I grew up in South Africa, in Pretoria. I grew up in a Christian family, always went to church. I was very busy academically. I excelled in school. I am very smart and talented. Humble, as we've said before. Excelled in school. And then I also started playing golf, which was my big passion while I was in school, in high school. I played golf to a very high level. I put in lots of hours. So it would be 6-7 hours of school. Then it would be 5-6 hours of golf afterwards, almost every single day for about 10 years of my life. I did a lot of it, and I loved it. It was great, but I had this hole inside of me. There was still something inside of me that was missing. And I was in church, but I wasn't really active in church. And there was this thing in me that needed to be filled, and that I just wasn't finding on the golf course, and that I wasn't finding in school. And so I went to church to have that hole filled, and I started serving in church, because that's where I saw the potential for what I was looking for. And what I was looking for was to meet girls. That's why I went. Now you know my honest past. We say this often, actually, and I've joked about it, but we say, if I'm honest, while we're standing up here, if I'm honest, you should be worried if I say that, because that means other times when I don't say it, I'm maybe not being honest. But no, this is actually how I started, and how I started serving in church. And in my student church, I started working on outreaches, going to Mozambique, and student camps, for example. And yes, a portion of it was to serve. But there was a definite element of meeting girls and being able to to have some free time with girls, if we can call it that. Growing up in a strict Christian family, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to one-on-one go out with a girl. But on a church camp, you're allowed to go out and meet with girls without your parents hanging close by. So that was one of the benefits of starting with this. So I didn't start serving with a serving heart. 100% honesty right now. A portion of it, yes, but there was also a portion very, very selfish. And every time I joined one of these outreaches, one of these programs, it was a week or it was 2 weeks, living in a bush, helping to build houses. And that's not to make me sound great, because as I say, my heart wasn't in it for the correct reasons. It was for the after party, if you want to call it that, the extracurricular activities. But that's where I started. And last week, Esther was preaching, and because she said in Africa people call her Mama Esther, I'm very happy to also call her Mama Esther then, because I'm from South Africa. And like she said, God gives us directions, but he's not a GPS. He's not saying, I want you to turn left now, and then I want you to do this. He says, I want you to go in this direction. And I was following his direction, but a little bit in my own way, if I can put it that way. But that way got me onto the right path. It got me started. So, now that I've got the air cleared, I'm not the perfect servant. I'm not the black belt that I claim to be. I'm not the ninja. I've got a shady past in terms of serving and the honesty of my heart. And that is the person that you're looking at today. So anything that you hear from me, you can know this is as much applicable to me as it might be to you. There is no judgment from me, because otherwise I'm just blaming myself. So what is the goal of today? Today I want to explore serving as a faith essential. Now, serving, there's lots of verses throughout the Bible that talk about this. Lots of verses that say you will be blessed if you serve. If you serve with that which you've received, and it's not for the benefit of your own body or your own ingratiating, or how to ingratiate yourself, then you will be blessed. There's Proverbs, there's verses in Proverbs. In the New Testament, lots of verses about that. In the Old Testament as well, while they were building the tabernacle in Exodus as well. If you can give, if you can contribute to the temple what was laying on your heart, then it would be fruitful with you, it will go well with you. And that idea is you can find throughout the Bible. But I've got a problem with that. I've got a slight problem. For me, there was a disconnect there, because it feels a little selfish, right? It feels like I'm serving because I still want to receive something. So yes, I'm serving to give someone else something, to bless them with something that I have that they maybe don't have, my time or anything else. I'm trying to help them. But if I'm doing it because I want to be blessed, then it's selfish again. So I don't want to do that, right? And that stops me from serving again. And the other difficult one is, can I always just be serving? What if I'm tired? What if I just don't have the energy? I don't know about you, but life is busy. There are lots of things happening. There are lots of things going on. Sometimes we just don't have the energy. So how do we bring those things together? How do we still serve even if we feel like our cup is empty? And how do we do it without feeling selfish, like we just do it for the reward? Because that's also not what Jesus wants. So that's what I want to explore with you today. As I said, many scriptures, Proverbs, etc., that explain how you can be blessed by serving. But for me, the verse that really emphasizes serving can be found in Ephesians 5, verse 33. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong verse. No, it's actually not the wrong verse. This is the verse that I want to talk about. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Amen. That man just got brownie points. Well done, well done. That's a well-timed amen. No, I just came from the marriage retreat, which happened Friday evening and yesterday, and we were so blessed to have Pastor Anke and Pastor Martin lead this. It was an amazing weekend, full of such honest truths and such honest sharing from you, which was really amazing to have. And this verse, even building up to the marriage retreat, this verse still stood out to me, but it was emphasized again on the weekend. Now, why do I say this verse is about serving? If you're not married and you're not planning on being married, then you might say, yeah, this isn't applicable to me. Husbands, wives, yeah. Not. Right? Let's get the details. Ephesians 5, verse 25 starts, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body, just as Christ does the church. For we are members of his body. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united with his wife, and the two will become one flesh. This is a profound mystery, but I'm talking about Christ and the church. And then the verse we started with, however, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. So we're not talking about husbands and wives, we're talking about Jesus and us. Jesus is the husband, we are the wife. We are wives as a church of Jesus. And he's saying the man loves his wife unconditionally. Unconditionally. There's two things where this ends. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. There's no condition attached. There's no, if the man loves the wife can then respect the husband. But if the husband does not love the wife, then the wife can stop respecting the husband. That's not what the verse says. It's a perfect unifying circle which says the husband will give everything for his wife. He will love her absolutely. And the wife will reciprocate that absolutely. Doesn't matter what's coming back. In blind faith. In blind faith. And in the same way, Jesus offered himself fully for us. He was the perfect husband to us as a bride. Even though we as a bride did not deserve it, even though we shouldn't have gotten it, he took up the burden. He carried his cross up the hill as we're coming up to Easter. He carried his cross up that hill to be crucified himself, to have a sinner's death. He got the reward that a sinner was supposed to get, but he did it for us, even though we did not deserve it. So the one doesn't wait for the other one. It's not we only start serving if someone else has served us or if Jesus has served us. Jesus has already done everything. Jesus has already done everything. We are just serving in return. We are just giving back as much as we possibly can in the time that we have available. And that is a serving heart with no expectation to get anything back. And the wonderful thing is, if that perfect circle is working, everything works the way that it should. The husband has all his needs fulfilled, and the wife has all her needs fulfilled by the other person. You don't have to take care of yourself. The other person is doing it for you. And that's what Jesus did for us. So that is a serving heart. This is difficult. This is difficult for us. This message from Paul is a really difficult one because we see broken relationships on earth. We had the marriage retreat yesterday, and I mean, I can give my marriage a very, very high score, and I love my wife, but we still had some things to talk about, right? She maybe had a little bit more things to talk about than what I had to talk about, but there were some things to talk about. And we've got this broken relationship in mind sometimes, instead of the perfect one that Jesus has given us. So sometimes I serve, and I know that it's going for Jesus. Jesus also says in Matthew 25 that if you, he was speaking to the disciples and he said, you fed me when I was hungry, you clothed me when I needed clothing. And then the people in response would say, yeah, but we didn't see you. What do you mean? And they said, no, every single person that you saw that was needing, that you helped, that you served, you were serving me. So that's one of the first connections we have to make. If we serve other people, we are serving Jesus. So if you want to return it to Jesus, give it to people. People don't deserve it, Jesus deserves it. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it, Jesus deserves it. But this is still difficult. Right? So we've got the serving heart. We know that we're serving from a place of faith and trust, that we're getting everything back that we need. We have gotten everything back that we need. And now we can give it fully back in thankfulness and gratefulness, adoration of our husband. We can give it back to Jesus. But still, there are times when I serve, when I do it grudgingly. When I pull my face in a way, or when I'm going to do it again. It's for you, Jesus. I'm tired, but I'm going to do it because I know it's good. Please don't look at my heart right now. I'm going to do it. Just look at what I'm doing. Don't look at what I'm feeling. Please. I'm being good. I sometimes still do it grudgingly because I get tired. We get tired. And that's the second part. How do we keep on serving if we feel like we don't have the energy? Our cups are empty. We don't have anything to give. You can't give something that you don't have. Right? You can only serve if you have enough to give. And in Mark 12, verse 41, Jesus gives us this answer. It's called the widow's offering. And Jesus was sitting opposite the place where offerings were being put, and they were watching the crowd putting in their offerings at the temple. And all the rich people were putting in a lot. I mean, they had a lot. They were taking out their wallets, and they were just, money, 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 money. It's all good. And this poor widow walks in, and she drops 2 cents, and you can almost hear it clinking between all the banknotes. That's how I imagine it, probably not how money worked that time. You can hear it dropping into the bucket, the 2 cents. And you can hear people probably thinking, oh, well, that's not going to do anything. And Jesus, I think, reacting to that says, truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on. This is a widow, right? In that time, if her husband had passed away, she had lost all source of income. She was now completely dependent on the brothers of her husband, her family, to support her. She probably did not have an income of her own. So this was probably some of her last money that she has. And Jesus says this is her last money that she's giving up. And she gave it up. And people were probably looking at it as well and saying, what is 2 cents going to do? This other guy gave thousands of euros just now. He just gave 2 fattened calves. We can feast from this for 2 weeks. And she just dropped in 2 cents. We can't even get someone to buy a broom for that price, right? But she gave it. And Jesus says she gave the most. So if you're feeling like your cup is empty and you don't have enough to give, this is that second step of faith. Saying, Lord, I don't have much to give right now. I'm so tired. I'm so run down. But the little bit that I can give, I believe you can do amazing things with it. I believe the 2 cents I'm going to drop into the bucket, that 30 minutes that I'm going to spend with someone, even though I'm not feeling it, is going to make a big difference. It's going to make a big difference. So I started off by saying serving is a faith essential. And I can speak for myself. I often see serving or giving up my time, of my resources, of my energy, of my thoughts as an afterthought. As I believe in Jesus and I love you very much, and I will give what I have over at the end of the day. I will give if I have enough energy after I've done all the other important things. After I've cared for my family, after I've cared for the people that are close to me, then I'll care for the person on the street. Then I'll care for the person that I don't know. Then I'll spend the half hour with someone if I still have time left. But I need to have my cup filled first. And this is so difficult to hear. It's difficult for me to say because I know I still feel that way sometimes. That I think I don't have that now. But what Jesus says is that little bit that you can give, believe that little bit is going to make a big, big difference. It's going to make a big difference to someone else. And there's so many examples of this in the Bible. It's absolutely beautiful. If you want to name all the criteria in the world why you couldn't serve or why you couldn't give, you've got examples for almost all of them in the Bible. Moses was a stutterer, right? He wasn't great at speaking, and he was sent to speak with Pharaoh, the most important man of the land at that time. Not only to speak with him, to tell him this is what's going to happen. A stutterer. That would have gone very difficult. I need to Israelites. Just please. Not to make light of Moses or stuttering. But Moses could have said, I don't have enough. I don't have the right talents to give this. But God said, you are more than enough. I only need you to say the words. I only need you to go there. I will do the rest. You bring the small offering that you have, I do the rest. There's so many examples. People that were depressed, people that were cynical. I mean, you look at the disciples and you're like, Jesus, couldn't you have picked 12 better guys? I mean, this is just heartbreaking to see. But the sad thing is, he could pick the 12 best of us, and I don't think it's going to be any better. I don't think it's going to be any better. We all struggle. So what do I do? What do I try to do? I've had the excuses of not serving because I don't want to be selfish. And it sounds very good, very holy. Lord, I'm not going to serve right now because if I serve right now, it's because I only want to receive. And I don't want to receive and be selfish, therefore, I will not serve. That is black belt level avoidance. Right there. I'm very good at that sometimes. But what Jesus said of a husband loving a wife is I don't care. It's you start. You start this, you do this, irrespective of anything else. You start giving, you start loving, you start honoring, and you do it. You take the first step. Like Mama Esther said last week, you take the first step in complete faith. Even if you're not sure where that step is taking you, God is leading you in that. Take the first step in serving. If you start with, I don't know, and I don't have enough, and I suffer from that greatly myself. I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. I haven't practiced enough. I haven't rehearsed enough. I haven't put in enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have, call it what you want. I don't have enough self-confidence. I've gone through lots of them. And so many of them have just been missed opportunities. What if I turn that around? So instead of I don't have enough, I say, Jesus, you were enough. Lord, you died on the cross not to exempt us from service, to empower us for service. You gave us everything that we need. So instead of thinking in human terms, in human capabilities, in your own capabilities, I don't have enough to give right now. I don't have enough time in my day. I don't have enough hours. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough sleep. Jesus, you have more than enough. You have given more than enough. You have given more than I could imagine. I can't imagine it. You've already done it. I just need to take a first step. So that is my I want to give this a nice word. That is my challenge for all of us on our journey to becoming black belts in serving. That we not only see it as something that will bless us, because it will. That's what the Bible says. You are blessed when you serve others. You are blessed when you serve others that have less than you. You are blessed. That is true. But we don't have to focus on that. We can just focus on Jesus. That's where our focus is. So I want to challenge you. If you're feeling like your cup is empty and you don't have enough, also remember, God gave us the Sabbath. He gave us the seventh day. If you want to call it your first day, He gave that. He gave the day of rest. And we can absolutely use that rest. We can absolutely take it because He has given it. And we should take it because otherwise we do struggle to give. So take the rest day. That is important. But when you're struggling, thinking, how can I give? How can I serve more? Lord, look at everything that I'm doing. Just turn to Him. Just turn to Him and think, wow, what have you done for me? And I can't even begin to repay it. I cannot even begin to repay it. We're working our way up to Easter, and this is such a challenging time, confronting time. Because if you go through the journey that Jesus went through, like, He didn't deserve any of that. He didn't deserve any of that. He was blameless. He was absolutely blameless. And He did it for us. And He did it for us. If we hold on to that, if we hold on to that love that our husband Jesus has for us as the wives of Christ, the bride of Christ, then we can only give him as much honor as we possibly can with the time that we have available. So the next time that you're considering serving, that you're thinking, yes, I want to do a bit more, and the thought comes into your head that says, but you don't have enough time, your calendar is a little bit too full, you don't have enough energy, rest out first, all of that. I want to challenge you to challenge that thought. I want to challenge you to take it into prayer with Jesus. Say, Jesus, I know when I'm serving, when I'm giving to someone else of myself, that I'm giving to you. And I want to give to you. And Lord, keep my eyes focused on you. Help me to turn to you when doubts creep in. Help me to turn to you to know that whatever I can give is going to make a difference, is going to make an impact. And that's what I want to challenge you with today. If we can all do that, if we can keep our focus on Jesus, the example that we're going to be showing to other people in the world, where's this guy getting his energy from? He's like a little energy ball. Then he's here, then he's there, then he's giving to these people, then he's doing this, then he's just putting energy into this thing. Where is he getting it all from? He's getting it all from Jesus. Where do you get your energy from? Was it a Red Bull? No, it was a Red Bull. Jesus gave me wings, right? Probably one of the worst metaphors ever used in church. But we'll go with it for now. No, Jesus was absolutely so good for us. And the amazing thing is it didn't stop. It wasn't a once-off act. It wasn't a once-off occurrence. He's keeping on doing it. He is still saving us today. He's already saving us from things that we're struggling with right now, that we're going to struggle with in a couple of days. He's already pouring himself out for us. His Holy Spirit is already here in this room, filling us and touching hearts.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's Motion Church podcast. We hope that today's message has encouraged and inspired you. Much of our content is free thanks to the people who support us financially. If you would like to contribute, go to motion.church. For more, visit our website and follow us on social media for the latest updates. Until next time,